I'm going to give you guys two reasons why majority of people, and I'm going to actually say 98% of entrepreneurs, business owners, people who want to get into business, people who want to get into influencing, people who want to get into social media type stuff, anything that has to do with, online business or any type of business in general, whether it be online or brick and mortar. Two reasons that why people fail. And it's going to sound simple, and people have been saying this for a very long time, but it's actually absolutely completely true. And that is patience, and that is discipline. And that's going to be spread and spewed a million different ways in a million different words, right? So what I'm going to actually tell you guys is that the problem with the majority of people, right? The majority of people who want to get started either in entrepreneurship or in business ownership or anything is they do not have the discipline to actually put forth the work ethic that needs to get done in order to obtain the results that they want, okay? And what that means is that you looking around, you're seeing all these successful businesses or what you may think are successful businesses, and you're wondering and thinking, man, if they can do it, I can do it. So you get started on it and you never complete the task. And that has to actually do a little bit more with the deeper person that is within inside you than overall what is the expectation. What that means is that if you are not disciplined outside of the business, outside of your entrepreneurship, sort of aspirations and goals, then how hard do you think that it's going to be to stay disciplined when you're actually trying to build something from the ground up, right? That number two thing is going to be patience. A lot of times people may have the discipline and may have the vision and the plan to get started. However, they do not have the patience to get through the curve, okay? Because when you start a business, it doesn't matter if it's an online business or it's a brick and mortar, tangible business, outside of being online. There's always this curve, right, where you start off and you have to lay the groundwork and you have to lay the framework and the framework and the framework and the framework, and you're going pretty much stagnant, right, for a very, very long time. It's very rare that you see a business start to, go up from the very beginning, okay? It's very, very rare. And if you're one of the few who does get lucky from the start to just kind of explode to the upside, those are normally the people who fail first, okay? And what that means is, have you ever talked to anybody, any business owner, anyone who's ever owned a company, anyone who's ever started a business? They had the idea, they put the plan in motion, and within 12 months that business is profitable. Within 24 months that business is extremely profitable. Have you ever talked to those people in 5, 10, 15 years? If they never had the discipline before starting that business and having that early on success, normally they go up and they come crashing down. And the reason is because once you get there to the top, it's very hard to stay at the top. In business as a whole, think about it as, as if you're in an ocean with a bunch of chum, and there's a bunch of great white sharks that are all kind of trying to nip at your ankles as they're kind of, raising you up out of the water. Like, let's say you're a scuba diver, they drop some chum next to you, you've got all these great whites swimming next to you, you're telling the people on board, hey, pull me up. And as you're getting pulled up, you have a bunch of these sharks kind of nipping you at the ankles. And what that means is that you're always going to have a direct competitor, and you're always going to have someone else on the come up, right? So if you have someone else on the come up and you think that you've already made it, well, those people who are still hungry are going to eventually gain ground on you. So discipline and patience. Patience also comes with, a lot of the times, whether you're starting an e-commerce business, whether you're doing Amazon FBA, whether you have some sort of social media agency, whether you're day trading stocks and options, whether you're starting a local restaurant franchise, you're starting a gym, maybe you're a personal fitness instructor or an online trainer, or you're a coach, you're an accountant, you're whatever. Any type of industry that you get in is going to require you to put in the time and effort and to actually lay the framework, right? Think about a house. What good is a house with no foundation? Without the proper foundation being laid, maybe the ground is uneven, maybe the concrete was not settled before you started to build on it. And then next thing you know, you've got a bunch of 2x4s and wood and plaster and everything else, and the house begins to crumble. It becomes weak, right? So you have to make sure that the foundation is strong, and you have to actually stick around long enough to see the potential results. And a lot of times what that's going to include is investing into yourself and understanding the psychology of yourself first, because if you cannot fully understand the way that you tick, the way that you move, what motivates you, what hustles you, and what allows you to continue to do things that you may necessarily not want to do on a day in and day out basis in the very beginning, is going to be all the groundwork and the framework that you're going to need in the long run. And alongside that is also networking with other people who are just as smart and or smarter, and preferably smarter than you. Because if you're the smartest person in the room, your ideas are always going to be king. Now, that doesn't mean that what you say in the direction that you want for your business to go has to fall on you and that be the end all be all, but you need to also have people who are smarter than you, people who have built companies before, people who have done it before you, to actually give you the advice and the education and the mentorship that you actually need. And it has nothing to do with the industry that I'm in. The industry that I'm in is a perfect example, but all types of industries, there's always someone who has been there and done it before you. And the best way to get ahead is to get around these people and learn, where did they fail? What did they do wrong? What could have sped up the process? What could have cut the time in half to get the completed job done? What needs to be done so that you can get to work and start focusing on the things that need to be done. A lot of times, especially when someone wants to start a business, they spend too much time thinking about, I can make this amount of money if I just have this, right? But what needs to actually be involved to obtain that, right? So what actually needs to get done in order for you to get to that end goal? Yeah, seeing the guy who owns a real estate portfolio of 50 properties and drives, a Lamborghini and, invest into the S&P 500 for the past 20 years looks good, but how did they obtain that amount of money to even get there? What did it take? How many hours did they have to work? How many sleepless nights did they have to miss? How many birthday parties did they not attend? How many times did they have to tell their family that they are not going to be able to attend the function because they need to get work done? How many times have they done that in the beginning? Because all you realistically see is the end goal. You never really see the day in and day out struggle and the day in and day out grind. I hope this video kind of makes sense. I feel like I can elaborate on this a little bit more, but I don't want to make this video too long. If you enjoy this type of content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to invest in yourself first, always, and keep disciplined and stay patient.